All right. Good morning once again. Today we are going to be looking at applications that is needed for us to succeed in our quest for being a cybersecurity personnel. Yesterday, I sent some installation file links like how to install virtual machines, Kali Linux, Juice Shop, and so on and so forth. So today I'm going to show us the interface of Kali Linux. This is Kali. You can see here, this is my Juice Shop. And Kali Linux have a lot of applications. When you go to these icons, you can see here, this is application. When you click on it, it brings out all these applications that are here. The ones that you want, if you want to do information gathering, that is OSINT. These are the applications you can use to do them. We have region, we have Dimitri, and so on and so on. Even OSINT analysis is even here. Then if you want to do vulnerability analysis, that is where you now see Nmap, VoIP2, Zenmap, and so on and so forth. You want to do web application analysis, that's where BobSuite, SQL Map, all of them now come in. So the Kali Linux applications comes in with all these built-in applications. If you want to do database assessment, SQL Map is there. You want to do password attack, that is where you have your Hashcat, Hydra, and rest of it. You want to do wireless attack, you can use these applications here, Aircrack, NG, and so on. Reverse engineering, that's where you have MS NAS Shell. Exploitation tool is in this exploitation tool, you also have SQL Map. Sniffing, you want to spoof, you have Scapy, and so on. You can also use Wireshark for sniffing and spoofing. Post exploitation, you can use Minicat. Then when you want to do forensic, that's where you have Yara. You begin to describe or create Yara rules and rest of them. Reporting tool, you can use Record DM Desktop, Record My Desktop. Social engineering, you can use Set Tool. Then there are so many other tools which you can use here. What is important is for you to understand each tools and what they do. But the first thing is to basics, which you have done, the understanding the concept of cybersecurity. Now that you've understood the concept, we now move on to tools, which is very, very key. So anything you want to, if you want to do recon, what is recon? Does anybody know what recon is? Recon is recognizance. Are we together? So that's the first thing you do when you want to start any attack or anything in information gathering. The first thing you do is to do what? To do recon. They call it recon. but it's actually what? Reconnaissance. So, is the first thing you do, you use it to gather information about what you want to do. You use it to check the IP address, to check the type of website, whether it's secured or not secured. Just check everything you want to do. It's very, very important. That is the first thing you do. So, Chukwemeka, you are asking question. What's your question?
So, I checked through my mail.
I can't hear you.
Okay. So, I said I checked through my mail to see if I got the invite you mentioned concerning the conclusion of the simulation internship.
Okay, it's not about completion, but once they have any job opening, they usually invite those who have completed
Because
theirs.
there was a mail that they sent to me that it seems like didn't go through it. More like
Okay.
an application.
All right. Okay, we'll discuss that later. Okay, so there are different types of reconnaissance. Remember, I mentioned that reconnaissance is the first thing you do in cyber attack. Then the type of reconnaissance, we have what we call active and passive. The passive reconnaissance is when you gather information about interacting directly without interacting directly with the target. That is passive. You can go to public websites, you can go to Whois, DNS data, you go on public. That is passive reconnaissance. You don't have direct contact with the target. That is passive. But active is when you interact directly with the target system. Like when you now do pulse scan, vulnerability scan, all those things that we do to get information. In that case, you have access to the target. But passive is you don't even have access to the target. You are getting your information from the public. You want to target a website. You go to Whois to get information about the website. You go to social media. You go to DNS data. You get the IP address and you begin your reconnaissance there. So reconnaissance is called recon. So what are the common techniques for this recon? The first technique is what we call pulse scanning, network mapping, social engineering, search engine mining, metadata analysis, a whole lot of them you can do for you to get information. So, however, if you want to prevent or counter it, what do? That's where IDS, firewalls, then you limit exposure to public exposure of your data. Of course, you need to be doing regular pen testing, and most importantly, you need to train staffs. You need to educate them to recognize social engineering. Because this is one of the weakest points in attack. Humans are the weakest point of entry. So why does this